Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. When it comes to the issue of Biafra agitation and Igbo presidency, there seems to be one man who have tasted both, and he seemed to be dishing out information that is sparking a lot of reactions online and bringing attention to the fact that Igbo presidency may have ulterior motives. Before we go to the news, people, like you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you'll see bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, let's go straight into the news of the day. Well, the former deputy president of deputy leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, that's Uche for Mefor, has this to say. He says it's the turn of the Igbo Biafrans to assume the political leadership of Nigeria if Nigeria still remains one by the year 2023. According to him, he said injustice must be fought against anywhere it is seen, and in this case, it concerns the interest of Biafrans. As Biafran has not yet been restored and the Nigerian state still imposes her sovereignty over Biafran territory, the indigenous peoples, including Biafrans, must continue to fight for their right to self-determination and against the violations of such rights in Nigeria by the Nigerian state agent. Specifically, one of such rights is the right to internal self-determination, their right to determine their civil and political rights, and their right to choose their political future or status. Of a truth, though zoning among political parties in Nigeria is unconstitutional, but over the years the practice has been enshrined, and all the major ethnic groups and the original political demographic settings have been used to produce civilian precedent from different major divides located in the north and south by consensus. If this has been the trend under the present civilian dispensation, why must it then change now that it is traditionally the turn of the Igbo Biafrans to produce the next president of Nigeria in 2023? He asked, anybody or group not in support of Igbo presidency 2023 is a political enemy and Igbo hater, insincere and lack conscience. Igbos must at this time unite and stand their ground and stop begging anybody for support in an obvious issue which is morally and clearly in their entitlement and as self-right for that matter. Yes, there is need to build alliances in good faith, but not to go cap in hand, knee-jerk and beg. The Igbos must see anybody or group putting themselves forward for Nigerian presidency 2023 outside the core Igbo state not as a friend or friends, but the political enemies. All major political parties are expected to field Igbo candidates if truly they are sincere. Igbos and their neighbors must work in harmony and in synergy. All the political blocs in the Middle Belt and the South and the South should and are expected to take a stand in support of Igbo presidency. If not, all the whole of Nigeria, no Igbo man must play the second fiddle as vice president to anybody this time around. He now asked, will the Nigerian president of Igbo extraction or Igbo Biafra extraction stop Biafra agitation? This was what he said. He said this is very unlikely, as an Igbo president of Nigeria will even intensify the agitation for restoration of Biafra. Biafrans must concentrate on Biafran territorial politics with a view to controlling the political space in Biafra land. Nigeria is an ideal candidate, will be competing the circle of the status of an ideal contender, highly unlikely to be subjected to remedial secession if she mishandles the Igbo bid for presidency and denies or schemes them out. Remedial secession or external self-determination or outright independence can be justified as a last resort in extreme case of oppression or arbitrary or systematic human rights violations against a group that qualifies as a people or peoples and ultimately the denial of internal self-determination against such groups by a state, in this case Nigeria. When that happens to such an extent that the territorial integrity of such state in the case Nigeria is called to question, that state loses her claim to her sovereignty because she has failed to adequately represent her whole population in the governance of her affairs. No doubt there are consequences, but if crafted and guided strategically, the group or groups is or are likely to succeed with recognition of members of the international community. If the Igbos, that's either alone or in collaboration with others, decide to seek for a separate country by exercising their right to self-determination through the lens of remedial secession, they are strongly and likely going to be justified, subject to external recognition. In summary, I believe that Nigeria has since reached the threshold to such an extent that any indigenous people of any ethnic origin within the Nigerian state can seek remedial secession on account of monumental human rights violations and extreme oppression against them by the Fulani-controlled Nigerian state government. Nigeria is indeed an ideal candidate, ripe for and should be subjected to remedial secession by the occupant unit. This is what the Biafra agitators must continue to focus on and consolidate. There's something erased here, which I think is the part that may be another option for those agitating to look into, in sense that instead of thinking of chaos, civil unrest or civil disobedience, there's something it's saying here about the fact that it's a right, unalienable right. It's your right, that you are not marginalized in any form. They should be equally represented. But this secession is saying, remedial secession, is by the virtue of the fact that there was a neglect somewhere, even though there was some sort of agreement that they should be adequately provided for, but for some reasons they were neglected. I say apart from even Biafrans, according to Uche, Mefor, even other ethnic groups that are minor or minority ethnic groups who have over time grown in proportion can actually seek that same through remedial secession, of which it has really never been brought to bear. But don't forget that the likes of Professor Abanji may have looked into that part that gave him boldness to say that they will get Yoruba Nation, but it's not going to be through violence, but they intend to get it through diplomacy and through the due process of rule of law. Of course, Uche Mefor must have gone through some of the charters, international law, international treaty, and realized that there's a clause just maybe the likes of Ipob are missing that they could have capitalized on to get their independence in quick succession. But the question now is, he's saying, when they asked him, will the Igbo presidency change the status quo and loosen up or dose the tension and make Igbos more comfortable in the one Nigeria scheme? He said he's afraid not, that rather it will intensify it, whereby they already know that come after the 4 or 8 years tenure, if of course the country still remains one, there will be another set of persons from a different region that will continue. So, but when you develop a Biafra land and also become a sovereign state, there's no other tribe that will come around and secede. That's okay, wrap it up. Do you agree with him? I think he makes a lot of sense from the angle of the fact that can be another form of dialogue instead of violence to get Biafra. Let's interact. What's your take on this, please? Please forget about the messenger. Just